In the spirit of respect, authenticity, and reconciliation, the town of Slave Lake honors and acknowledges that we are situated on the traditional lands of Sawridge First Nation within Treaty 8 territory, home to Indigenous, Métis, and Inuit peoples who have occupied these lands since time immemorial. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Councillor Adams.
Motion to adopt the agenda is presented.
Just one friendly amendment, if we can move item 5 and 6, just switch them for
You'd
order.
like to move question period to after? Okay. Would you like to make the motion as amended?
Yep.
Any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that is carried. Councillor Hughes.
I move to accept the committee of the whole meeting minutes from October 10th, 2023 as presented.
Any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that is carried. Okay, we have our first delegation of the evening, the Lesser Slave Lake Regional Arts Council. Your third? Yep, you're third on the agenda. We moved through 1 and 2 already. So you're already there.
Good. We'll be out of your hair. So I think I forwarded, first of all, I'm Connie Baird. I think all of you know me with the Arts Council. Katrina Hill. With the Arts Council. And we're both on the mural committee as well, and that's why we're here. We have been very thankful with the support that we've received from the town of Slave Lake the last 2 years for the murals, and we know that you're into budget. We're hoping that you can find some money to help us out with the murals again this year. I forwarded you the information. I'm not sure if you want me to go through it or if you've had a chance to look at it.
It was in our package, but if you wanted to provide some highlights and maybe some of
Okay.
the mural project
Yeah.
successes, that'd be
So
great.
last year, we were able to get 2 murals done with the help of the town of Slave Lake. Primarily, they were paid for with funds that you donate or that you granted to us, which was awesome. This year, we got considerably less from the town of Slave Lake, and we're hoping that we can boost that up. I know that things are tight, but we would like to ask for a fair bit more than what we received this year. We've been able to establish 1 mural this year, or complete 1 mural this year, but that was pretty much all donated time by the Arts Council. The money that you did give us this year, the 10,000, that particular mural has been contracted out, but the building became unavailable that it was slated for. So we're holding that over until the spring. Hopefully, that building will be ready. The artist is ready to do it. So that money is being carried forward to next year, but it is contracted out already.
And it's going to a different building it's going?
No, we're hoping that that same building will be available. If it's not, then yes, we will have to choose a different building. We had applied for a grant, a CIP grant matching for 20,000. So we're going to come up with 120,000. They were going to come up with the other 20,000 for a total of 40,000. Unfortunately, we did not receive that. So it sort of was a bit deflating. However, there was no reason other than it wasn't a priority for us to get that money. So they've encouraged us to apply again. We will be, but again, we will not find out until mid-July, mid-August, whether we get those funds. So it makes it a little bit tricky again for next year. We're asking, we sent out a number of proposals. It's about a 600 square foot mural. We've got some wonderful proposals and wonderful designs, I guess, for this year, but we just couldn't afford them. And they were running around the $25,000 to $35,000 range for one. So that's why the council, our Arts Council, is asking the town of Slave Lake, if at all possible, that we could receive a minimum of 25,000 to cover one. And then the Arts Council would also like to are interested in doing one again on our own. It was our first stab at the butterfly mural. That was our first stab at actually doing one of our very own with members, and we had a good time and it was great. And I think that's something that we will look forward to doing as well. Again, in the future. Is there anything that I missed, Katrina? Yeah. So money for the mural would be awesome. We have a second and third request. Are there any questions about the murals, first of all? Steve?
Couple questions. Have you applied for any other grants other than the CIP?
Yes. We have applied for an FCSS grant, not particularly for the murals, and we are going to be applying for the Ames Lucan grant this fall as well.
No other provincial or federal grants?
Alberta, no.
Okay, and then how are you on your local fundraising? Because last time you said you were going to try and
Yeah.
Scale
it's
that
not-
up.
Yeah, it didn't, I think we ended up with, what did I have here? If I mentioned it or not. Yeah, we only had 24.5. Yeah. Everybody seemed to be asking for money at the same time when we were this spring, so didn't get a lot of fundraising. We would like to get a wonderful sponsor for that, but that hasn't happened yet. One of the oil companies.
Councilor Ferguson?
Do you recall what the costs were for the murals last year, for last season?
Yes, they were. Well, we spent pretty much the full amount. You gave us 26, so they were 13. They worked out to about 13,000 each. The one at the Legion was a little less expensive because she's local.
Yeah.
The one at Dom's building there, it's a little bit more because we had to pay subsistence. She was from Edson.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you sent some of this information last year. Would you be able to provide the breakdown for what the cost of a mural is to the town? So we can discuss as part of our budget deliberations?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. From last year.
Yeah,
Yeah, from the first two.
Yeah.
that were done.
I think all of that was sent to Jill, but.
yeah,
we
it
can
was
get
sent here in the past, but yeah.
Connie, with your advertising or sponsorship, would there be an advertising option in that for some of those bigger companies around the area where they incorporate some branding or something into it, or is it more more of a sponsorship than an advertising piece?
Yeah, I would personally, I would prefer it more of a, not so much an advertising. I mean, I guess we could, we've got plaques on all of our, on the 2 murals that we finished, and then we will be putting in them. But as far as, do you mean?
Well, I
actually
wouldn't
on
say
the
like
mural?
pretend the town of Slave Lake sponsoring. We don't just want to paint the logo, but maybe there's a skier or something and the logo's on their toque, like a subtle piece of branding into the.
Yeah.
I was just curious, just from the oil company standpoint out there, they would probably bite on that more than just writing a check if they got a little bit of
It was
advertising or
incorporated.
recognition. Just an idea, just curious.
Take that into account.
Councilor Hughes?
So Connie, you mentioned you're just hoping for the minimum 25K to get the one mural, right?
Yeah.
At that minimum. So just given that in 2022, we did 26K for 2, what's the difference? Like, what are we kind of getting with that minimum of 25 for one mural?
More of a, yeah, it wouldn't be a local artist.
Okay,
So
yeah,
any of the proposals that we got this year were out of town,
okay,
okay? More established artists
okay.
who have done this a number of times. Sorry. Yeah, we can. Would you like to see the proposals that were sent to us?
Yes.
Sure.
I mean, I think that might help just to understand, the
Why the
investment in itself.
difference in the, yeah.
Yes, certainly.
And I think that the 2 muralists we used last year, this was the first stab at it.
Right.
They hadn't done these before.
And they turned out wonderful. I think what we're looking at is
Mhm.
obviously, because we've asked all of us a bunch of times, we're trying to wrap our heads around.
Why?
26 for 2, so we are going to look at it during budget discussions.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, so if we could get, as Bryce had mentioned, the cost breakdown again, and if we could get some of the proposals, that would be very helpful in in our decisions moving forward, just so we can get a bit of context around it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking for too. So, and I mean, props to you guys for what you did yourselves. You guys did a great job and it's really nice to see them around the community. It's adding some unique, colorful to a downtown and I really like to see it. So keep at it.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thanks. So then our second request is, the Arts Council would really like to, be involved in the flower planters. We're sort of thinking that is that some way that we can get extra money from the town of Slave Lake? We would love to plant the planters, not the hanging baskets, that's Canets. We're not
You're talking
interested
about
in
the
that.
stationery, those big.
Yes, the big, large planters. That we thought, if we could work for our money, we will.
Okay.
So,
Thing,
if
alright.
you can give us a breakdown of what your budget is for the plants and the labor, we would sort of think about, or, consider planting those for you. You would be saving on labor, but that money then would perhaps come to the Arts Council for the murals. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. Because I was looking at your budget and it looks like you have for plants and whatnot, approximately, now if I'm reading your budget correctly, it looks like you've had about 26,000 for plant, shrubs and garden.
That's
This-
the entire.
Okay,
And I believe those are for like the trees and the town boulevards.
plants,
too.
shrubs and gardens, so
Jeff, do you wanna?
there's no labor.
I don't have the breakdown I think it is a broader category that covers a number of items, but I don't think it's just the pots themselves necessarily, but
I understand what your
Yeah,
request
what
is.
we're
Your,
looking-
your request is to essentially, you would be the labor contractor.
Correct.
With the funds going towards the mural.
Correct.
So that's something we
Yes, so if we could get the
discuss very
breakdown of
quickly.
the labor and the breakdown of what you spend on those flower planters for filling them.
Right.
And then see where we could help out with that. We would love to. Because I don't know whether you've been to the town of Athabasca the last couple of summers. They have amazing planters. They're absolutely beautiful. And I think we could step ours up quite a bit. A lot of the girls in the council, a lot of the council, our council members are really interested in boosting that up a little bit.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Third request. The entrance, a flower boat, the entrance into town has your three little half barrels.
Mhm.
Pretty sad, pretty sad. I sent a picture. We're sort of thinking a boat theme. Flowers in the boat, welcome to the lake, something a little more appealing at that spot.
Okay.
Would love to take that on as well.
On that one, you're just looking for a permission to do the vote one.
No funding?
I don't think we need any funding for that one.
We'll call the third request flower boat.
Mhm.
Okay. Any further questions from council?
No, I just want to say, I love your guys' creativity on this. I remember when I was on Rotary a whole bunch of years ago and we had clubs come to us with different proposals. A lot of times we looked at, instead of just giving them the proposal amount, we wanted something like sometimes it was coming and helping sell tickets. Sometimes it was coming to helping us with the casino. Sometimes it was picking up, like helping us pick up garbage during cleanup week or whatever. So I love that you guys are able to, the creativity you guys have and being able to roll up your sleeve and help us out as well. So I do like that. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, appreciate that. We love the work that you've done. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these three requests and take a look at them during our budget deliberations, because even the flower boat kind of pertains into like our service levels regarding flowers and what we're looking at there. And once budget discussions are done, then we'll get back to you.
But we were going to do the watering too, if you could, we were prepared to do the watering of the ground. If we're prepared to do the watering of the street ground planters, if we were able to use your equipment. I remember way back when we were doing Communities in Bloom, we did the watering of all the ground planters with the use of the town's watering truck. So I would imagine that that's what we would need again.
Appreciate that. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Our next delegation, Alex. You almost had this by height. You think you've made them line up like this before?
So thanks, Mayor Council, for having us. We just wanted to come tonight to introduce, first of all, our deputy fire chief. Go ahead, Mike.
Mike Bissell, I come here from Waska, originally from High Prairie area, been in Waska for 15 years, on the fire department there for about 13, so. And got a bit of knowledge, I guess, and a few deployments with wildland urban interface, yeah.
So Mike got hired in August, but obviously with how busy Alberta was this year, we shipped him straight off to Fort Smith, so this was kind of the first opportunity we got to bring him down. And then the other regional here, we've been working hard for the last probably year to get a program going. With basically the short story, live-in firefighters that are taking a primary care paramedic / firefighter program. So we have 3 students taking the primary care paramedic program as well as a fire, and then 3 just taking the fire program. So I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. They'll tell you the name and where they're from.
I'm Ayrton Faulkner, I'm from Saskatchewan, so I've heard about the program. I'm one of the students doing the PCP and the fire side of things. 24 years old, yeah. Previously heard about this through Jamie Coots, I'm sure you guys are familiar. And yeah, so far so good. It's been amazing. So excited to be in Alberta and finally put some faces to council.
Hi, I'm Lee Morrison. I'm from Toronto, Nova Scotia. I'm 19 years old and I heard about the program through Jamie Coots as well. And so far it's been an amazing process so far, but can't wait to take on some more stuff.
I'm Jacob Zaslanchuk. I'm originally from Slave Lake, but lived in Edmonton as well. Heard about the program through Chief Alex and Jamie Coots as well. I'm on the fire side of things, so just loving the experience so far.
I'm Chad Cochran. I'm from Windsor, Nova Scotia. I'm doing the fire side and I heard it from Alex. I was here in 2018 for the conference and it was a blast, so I wanted to come back. So.
Erica, you know, high level. I guess I just heard about the program when I came to Slave Lake, but I'm one of the integrated students here. And now for the PCP program.
My name is Dominic Wanick. I'm 19. I heard about the program through Glenn and Michelle Mitchell from Northern Lakes College. I kind of heard about this program as they were trying to set it up, as it was in kind of really its infancy phase, still getting started, and it sounded like an opportunity that wasn't worth passing up. So I've been up here since basically start of September, and I've been loving being up here.
So the program runs till June, basic school semester. They are also active firefighters on our fire department. 3 of them are still completing their recruit process to actually be able to respond to calls. The other 3, the PCP students are about a month ahead. So they're already responding with calls with calls with us. So we have 2 more that we respond during the day, 2 at night, and then 2 off every 7 days. So they're here till June, and hopefully they get some experience and learn something along the way. So thank you for allowing us to introduce them. If you have any questions.
Fantastic.
I think it's awesome. That you guys are doing this is fantastic.
That's great. We're happy to have you guys here. I think it's pretty exciting that there's the PCP and the fire program combined. I don't know a ton about the program, but I think it's a great way to get a lot of experience for you guys. And hopefully we have some positions that open up for PCP and firefighter in the region.
There's
So,
a few programs like this. None of the programs include beyond that, fire department with Swan Falls.
mhm.
So that's one where we kind of found the niche of being able to learn on the job as well. So I think for the three that have been here for a month, they've already got to respond to a couple of calls with us, and the other three are very eager to get on the truck. Most of the people in front of you have experience with other fire departments. There's a couple that didn't, but yeah, they're all pretty anxious to ride on the truck and start helping people with that.
Councilor Graham.
Who are the three that responded to calls? What was the experience like?
I'll go first. So I have 3.5 years in the fire service. I was also a medical first responder in Saskatchewan. So I didn't have those initial scary feelings, but it was nice to break the ice. I think a bigger part was nice to see how the guys here work and how very seamless they are together. So it was just good to feel like part of the team and didn't feel too intimidating. They made it easy.
So.
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I have some previous experience in a different department, but yeah, the calls here. I don't know if the calls, but like working as a team was very nice to actually get to know them at a different level. It's probably the best part.
Yeah, I, unlike Eric's America, I have zero prior experience in firefighting. Prior to coming here, I took really an introductory course to the first responders life in general. Back in Edmonton through Center High. That was where I got very interested in doing this, and then yeah, through doing that, found out with this course, and then even just from going to college here, it's been a very interesting, very kind of crazy experience to experience it for the first time, having been up here with like really knowledgeable, really good crew. With everyone that's been at the hall, so it's been a really nice experience.
What was more intimidating, getting on the fire truck the first time or breaking through that door with a bunch of government people watching you the other day?
Oh, that is pretty close.
Awesome.
That's very exciting. I'll make sure that I keep my fire extinguisher stocked in my home because I did set my barbecue on fire over the summer and the first thing I thought was like, Alex better not show up to this call. And I don't want to see any of you at my house either. So I will make sure I change out my fire extinguisher, and we're all very happy to have you here. And
Welcome.
thanks for giving the program a shot. It's great to see some new faces in town. So we really appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's just the two delegations, correct? Kate, as far as business arising from delegations goes, I believe that the Arts Council decisions can be tabled until budget. Do we need a motion for that, or can we continue on? Okay, fantastic. Question period. We're switching question period. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, change to snow storage on Springwood Drive. Calvin. This report so small.
First is to have council decide whether or not the snow storage on Springwood Drive Northeast should be on the north side to align with the no parking zone. The background is council previously discussed the possibility of always having the snow stored on the north side of Springwood Drive to align with the parking. No parking. The discussion, the snow removal policy and bylaw outlines the areas where the snows be stored from the street will be stored. Generally, the snow will be stored on the designated sides of depending on the year. The odd years, it goes to the odd side, and the even years goes to the even sides. There are areas where the sidewalks are only on one side, so the snow will always be stored on the opposite side. And there's other areas that it deviates from this to allow for safer pedestrian travel. On Springwood Drive, the snow is stored on the opposite side of the no parking on the evens or the odd years, and then on the opposite side on the even years. The traveled portion of the street, if we store it on the no parking side, it'll be more efficient and better for traffic. So by storing the snow on the no parking side, it allows for better access. So the options are revise the snow storage map to show the storage on the north side of Springwood Drive in both odd and even years. The second one is to revise the snow map. Or the third option could be to remove the no parking signs and continue with the alternating. The policy implications, if the maps are revised, the snow removal bylaw will need to be updated to reflect the revision that form part of the bylaw. Communication strategy, affected property owners will be notified. The change will be posted on the town website and social media. The recommendation to council is to decide which option they would like. Leave it in your hands.
Council Ferguson.
So I just want to clarify, so in the map here, there is like green highlighter, which indicates where the snow is stored in the even years. So for Springwood, it's always like that?
So Springwood, there's two maps there. There's the odd year and the even year.
Okay, I see
That
that,
one's the even years, I think.
but they're one in this.
Yeah, so you've got both maps, don't you?
Okay, I
The
see,
blue and
I
purple
see.
is odd years.
That one wasn't pulling up. Okay, I gotcha.
So the alternate.
Okay, thank you.
Things you say will be easier. So does easier mean saving some money? No money saved. Okay.
No, we still have to take it to one side or the other, so.
Okay.
I'm in favor of this change, and I'm sure most of you know.
You
I
don't.
feel it will make it safer as far as parking goes and pedestrians for kids going to and from school down that area. It just makes sense logically. I would also like to expand on this further with a couple other areas in town that where we have snow removal currently doesn't necessarily make sense in my head, but it might make sense operationally. One example would be down on Sixth Avenue and Sixth Street in the southeast. We currently pile snow on the south side of the road year over year. And I know that turning lane on the three-way stop gets smaller and smaller as the year goes on until you get a chance to come up there and push it all. Why do we store snow on that side of the road and not on the opposite side where it doesn't impact sight lines and it doesn't impact the turning lane?
Well, the other side does have a sidewalk. There's a little bit of a boulevard.
Boulevard, yeah.
We could put some snow there, but it'll eventually grow up and it'll
Too much?
start
Okay,
getting onto the sidewalk and stuff.
okay. No, I was just wondering if there is a reason why we do that in that one little section.
Yeah. Now in Springwood, if we did take it to the north side, it would be easier for our crew. It wouldn't save any money, but it would be easier because we're always taking it to that side, eh? We don't have a street. There are two streets. There's a bulb there.
Yeah.
There's another street there. So we did take it to the other side. It's just one straight run, eh?
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
Councilor Moyle.
So just for my knowledge, why was the no parking zone put in on the north side again?
So years ago, there was a no parking zone. It was one of the smaller streets. And just to keep more road available. Now, there is other streets that are about the same size and we do alternate. So if you choose to remove the no parking, we can just continue alternating. But it's entirely up to you guys.
Keep going, Alan.
Yeah, I was just parked there this morning and I took a look at that street. I parked on one end. And to me, it looked like one of the wider streets, to tell you the truth. There was no vehicles parked there, I know. But even if there was vehicles, no, seriously. I honestly thought that it looked, I used to live on 7th Street Southwest. And if you stood and looked at 7th Street Southwest and saw how narrow that road is, which is another, the same developer developed both roads. This one to me looked like it was definitely wide. I thought the no parking zone was there because of the park there and having families park along there and use the bridge to go into shorter park. But that's
No, it used to be like one of the smaller streets, but we do have, like you said, we do have streets that are about the same size. Actually, I think there is even one down in the southwest that's narrower. So.
That was actually a question for you, Steve. What part, were you're in favor of just moving it to the no parking side? Or are you in favor of moving the no parking and alternating sides?
Honestly, I never gave it much thought as to removing a no parking side. The reason for that is I feel it is narrow. When you're coming around that corner, left or right, you start parking on both sides. That line of visibility is going to be interesting and coming out on the corner. It's hard enough. Like they put a no parking side on 7th Street as well. And that's because to make that left-hand turn out, you got to have somewhere for your vehicle to go when someone's pulling up. And when someone parks there illegally now, it makes it interesting when you come around that corner and you're jogging in again. I understand. I don't think it was the same developer for both on that. No, you only did part of this one.
okay.
But
Oh, yeah, maybe you're-
the other one had exceptions made. And whether or not they chose to put in no parking is that size issue, and taking no parking out of that street would have been interesting. Or putting it in there. This one here, I don't know if I have an appetite for removing it, but I mean, that's something I guess we could discuss later. As far as now, I think the quick and easy answer is to go and push the snow to the north side all the time instead of alternating. Just because that solves the whole interesting parking issue in the winter.
So the only thing to think about, and I talked to a few residents today from either side of the road.
Mhm.
So the ones on the south side are elated to hear that it'll all go to the north side, and the ones on the north side, they're not going to come as a delegation, but they're like, well, that would really suck because our grass dies and we have a year to bring it back to life, and then we have one good year, then it dies again. So just that's the resident feedback there. They're gonna have crappy grass.
I get that,
Every
but then
summer.
what are we deciding here? Is it about public safety or is it about keeping the grass alive every year?
Both.
I mean, I just think it makes sense. At the end of the day, it is what it is, what the people want to do, I guess, what the majority is. I just don't think it makes sense to pile snow on a parking side and have no snow on the no parking side. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. If you choose to switch, well, even switching the no parking sides makes no sense either for how you got to turn into that road. But there you go.
Councilor Ferguson.
I haven't made my mind up on which way I'm going on this, but we'll be trading one problem for another problem, because not only the residents are on the north side of the road, will be unhappy that they're getting access to their yards and their, you know, the windrows and all that, that it doesn't change on a yearly basis. They won't be happy either. I'm kind of with, I mean, I know Councillor Adams lives in the neighborhood, so he's more familiar with it. I'm kind of with Councillor Malone there. Like, I drive down there probably at least once a week, and I don't get the impression that it's a narrow road myself. And lastly, I mean, what is there for houses out there? 54 homes out there? Like, how bad is the congestion and the traffic flow that it would necessitate having to revamp our snow clearing for 54 homes out there?
We revamped the snow clearing once already, so it did alternate sides because it used to be on one side. So apparently it did matter. And then secondly, with the count of people being upset over it being on one side year round, I get that. But again, we're not here to make a decision on necessarily what makes people the happiest. It's about what makes sense for traffic flow and for pedestrians. If we want to have the parking zone where the snow piles are, have a car that parks 3 feet away from the edge of that snowbank. I mean, right now, when you drive down there, there's no snowbanks, so it looks fantastic. I'm good with it. It's just like driving down 13th Ave with cars parked on both sides. It's interesting, but you know, you make it work. And at the end of the day, if you still want to have cars park on there and basically the middle of the street, and we're coming around and I'm driving, and I know for a fact I've driven on the sidewalk because of a car that's parked on the road with the snowbanks out. So, And I get that's once in a while and not all the time. And that's not always from your fault. That's from people pushing the snow.
What's the administration's take on it? It says the recommendation is for council to be uploaded, but usually we have a recommendation from admin.
To us, it would make it easier to go to the one side, to the north side. Just because we don't have those two streets to worry about, the intersections. So if we just took it all to the north side, it'd be one shot, just plow her all to the north side. If you remove the parking, the no parking and continue to alternate, it wouldn't be bad. Again, it would be easier to go to the north side. But like I said, we've got streets. I actually had Dean measure a few streets that I knew were quite narrow, and there are some other streets that are just as narrow. We're talking like a foot difference sort of deal, so.
And they have parking on both sides?
Pardon me?
They have parking on both sides?
And then we alternate back and forth. Yeah, down in the far south, east, there's a couple of those dog lakes that are narrow. There's one in the southwest. Like 7th, that's very narrow.
Councilor Ferguson.
I'm fine with status quo. I think that if we make a change, we're just going to irritate quite a few residents out there. So we're trading one problem for another. I understand there's no perfect solution, but status quo, in my opinion, is fine.
The history over there, we used to actually take years ago, we used to actually take it to the south side all the time. And we got a lot of pushback from residents on the south side. So I would expect if we take it to the north side every year, we're going to get a lot of pushback from the residents on the north side too. So, but yeah, it's a tough one.
Councilor Moreland, did
No, I was just gonna say, in years where there's heavy snowfall, if you were to keep it on the north side, are we able to decrease? I mean, there's a number of empty lots along there as well where you could pile. No?
We can't pile on private property. We just have a snow reservoir, we call it, that we are allowed to put a windrow on because the snow has contaminated salt and sand. So the only place we can haul our snow is out to the lagoons. And the only place we can store snow from the streets is in windrows along the side. And it's right from the curb to basically the property line is our snow reservoir. But we're not allowed to push on private property.
Thanks you.
Councilor Adams.
Forgive me while I find my page. I'd like to make a motion to revise the snow storage maps to show snow storage on the north side of Springwood Drive Northeast for year-round storage.
Okay, there's.
Sorry, I didn't see it.
Even years.
In both odd and even years. Yeah.
Okay. There is
Year-round.
a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Okay, I will call the question. Those in favor of that motion? And those opposed? And that's defeated. Thanks, Calvin.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Tourism and marketing campaign results. Jason.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The purpose of this report is to present the results from the 2023 Summer Tourism Digital Marketing Campaign. A little bit of background. The 2023 Summer Tourism Campaign was created to draw tourists to Slave Lake, its beaches, its adventure and outdoor recreation opportunities, and its natural beauty. A well-orchestrated tourism campaign aligns with the town of Slave Lake's goal to boost our local economy while supporting local businesses. The campaign was designed and executed by Truly Creative Marketing, a local marketing company here in town. The previous 2022 Heck Yeah campaign was executed by Insight Consultants based out of Empton. I provide a comparison of results in this report. Some notable campaign deliverables from this year: the creation of a new landing page, which is visitslavelake.ca, that appeals to the target audience. while providing links to the Slave Lake Region Tourism website, which highlights our tourism amenities in the region. The Tourism Society recently reported a significant increase in site visits to its site, which is partially attributable to our landing page, because everyone that goes to our landing page gets directed to the Slave Lake Region website. Creation of custom, some other notable campaign deliverables, creation of custom graphics, which you'll see in my presentation, and creation and monitoring of both a Google and Meta campaign in June, July, and August. So this was a 100% digital marketing campaign using both Google and Facebook and Instagram. As mentioned, a results presentation is appended to the report. So I'll direct Mayor and Council to that presentation now. And we'll skip the first slide because I just went over that, and we'll go right to the graphics slide. So what I present is some of the graphics that were presented by Truly Creative Marketing. This is not the whole set of graphics. They actually produced about close to 20 different individual graphics and unleashed them all at the beginning of the campaign, and then monitored and analyzed which graphics were doing the best. And we changed our campaign based on those results. So the graphics really featured a couple of themes, like our outdoor adventure theme. So you see some fishing. There was a quadding graphic there too. That one actually didn't perform particularly well. The ones that performed the best were our themes around, family vacations, beach vacations, camping vacations. There's one there where it actually has a quote from a visitor from Fort Saskatchewan that actually did really well. But that's just a sample of the graphics. I can't produce a full list, but they were all very similar to this theme. And once again, the highest performing themes were the beach vacation and family vacation. So moving on to the next slide, Google results. So I break the results down by platform. So Google paid ads operate on a set demographic, top keywords, and a target audience. Google Ads brings more client reach by showing your ads across Google and Google partner websites. So some of the keywords we used for this campaign were beach vacation, beach trip, family holidays, family vacations, family vacation spots, Edmonton vacation. You get the theme. Our audience location was the Edmonton Donut. So what I mean by that is the Edmonton metropolitan area and all the bedroom communities. So Fort Sask, Beaumont, Stony Plain, all of them. The Google ad campaign was shown in the following locations: at the top of the Google search results page, on YouTube ad space, Gmail, and Gmail ad space. The top search terms resulting in clicks were actually folks looking for a deal. So tour packages, vacation package deals, Alberta vacation, closest vacation spots near me, beautiful places to visit near Edmonton. These are the search terms that generated the most clicks from our audience. So moving forward, we're going to be using these results to fine tune our theme. Once again, all focusing on family and beach. Total ad spend for Google was just over $2,500. Getting into some of the detailed analytics, total impressions was 884,000, with approximately 530 coming from cell phones and 350 coming from desktop computers. Clicks on ads. So these are the folks that actually clicked on the ad and then got directed to our Visit Slave Lake website, was just over 8,000, which gives us what they call a click-through rate of 0.9%. And then the average for travel and tourism is 0.47%. So we did perform relatively well. The cost per result was approximately 32 cents. Moving along to the next slide, I'll present the Meta results. So this is Facebook and Instagram. Similar to Google, Meta paid ads operate on the set demographic, top keywords, and target audience. Meta brings more client reach by showing your ads across Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger. Total ad spend for the Meta campaign was just over $3,800. Our total impressions were 934,000. Total reach of 290,000. So how many people the ad was actually shown to. Ad results, so those going to visit slavelake.ca was just over 7,400, resulting in a result rate of 0.82%. Meta breaks down each kind of platform kind of has its own analytics set. So Meta actually has what they call a result rate and what they have, and then a total click rate like Google. So the cost of per result for that was 52 cents. And then the click on ads. So this is clicks that result in either them going to visit slavelake.ca or our own Town of Slave Lake Facebook page. So this is both that. So that result was about 14,000. So that means that
About 7,400 were going to visit slavelake.ca. About 7,400 were going to Facebook, our own Facebook site. So that click rate was 1.5%, which is extremely well, it's extremely good. So the cost per click on that was about 27 cents. And there's some more detail on engagements, but I won't get into that. The video plays. So we did, part of the campaign had short little videos, but they were no more than kind of say 10 seconds. And it was just a visual. So one of our ones was a scene on the beach and it was just sand. And there was just water overlapping the sand. And then you got that nice background noise. And that was actually one of our highest performing ones, and even though it was 10 seconds. The video plays for over 25% is 30,000 and over 100,000 is 5,800, but I won't read too much into that because once again, our videos were very short and it was just the same thing with background noise. The visit slavelake.ca results. So site sessions, which is one visit to the site. One visitor can have more than one session. So total sessions was 12,000 with about a 80% on cell phone, about 11% on desktop computer and 6% on tablet. So the number of unique visitors, the number of people that actually visited the site was 10,330. Session duration. So when they actually get to visit slavelake.ca, how long are they actually staying there? The average session was 5 minutes and 18 seconds. The average duration among other clients, this was provided by Truly Creative Marketing, was 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So this particular campaign performed extremely well. The sessions by source, so that's the pie chart you see. The biggest chunk of the pie, the blue piece of the pie, that's Facebook. So over 40% of our sessions is coming from, or sorry, for over 50% of our sessions is coming from Facebook. The next biggest category is direct. So that just means people literally typing in visit slavelake.ca. And then the next biggest was unknown and Google. The chart on the right shows the sessions over time. So this goes from, I know it's kind of hard to read, but I apologize. So this goes from the beginning of June, so June 1 to August 30th. And so you see folks are visiting our site in the middle of June, and then it tapers off towards the beginning of August. This means that the bulk of folks are doing their vacation planning during that period. So moving forward, we're really going to put our ad spend in that particular time. So we're going to condense it from 3 months to say maybe 2 months or 2.5 months, because we know that once August comes around, folks are starting to switch from vacation mode to back to school mode or whatever else mode they may be in for fall. The last page, which is our comparison to the 2022 Heck Yeah campaign. So this was done out of Edmonton. So the total reach for the Heck Yeah campaign was approximately 775,000. For our campaign this year was 1.23 million, which gives us an increase of about 45%. Total impressions for last year's campaign was just over 3 million. For this year, it was about 1.8 million. So, but a note is total impressions being lower illustrates that the 2023 campaign was shown less times, but still reached more of our audience and resulted in 167% more clicks to the landing site, all with less ad spend. So total ad clicks from last year were just under 2,000. This year, there was 22,000. The cost per click or cost per result for last year was $3.74 per click. This year, it's 30 cents. Number of ads generated. So the number of graphics that were actually created, the consultants last year created 3. Truly Creative noted 29, but I would say it's closer to about 20 because some of those are kind of duplicates. They just change one word. Total ad spend. So this is just the ads spent. This is just the money spent on the ads themselves. Last year, it was just under 7,500. This year, it was about 6,400. So, and then I present further in the report what the consultant fees were. But so total ad spend last year for the campaign was about $20,000 from what I could see from Insight. So they charged us $7,400, about $7,500 on the ads themselves and $12,500 on creating, monitoring, and executing their campaign. This year, we spent about $6,400 on ad spend, and Truly Creative billed us $4,100 for their services. So moving on further into the report, the resource implications, I provide that breakdown. So I'm just flipping to it now. So yeah, total ad spend of just under 6,400, total consultant fees of just under 4,150, which gives us a grand total of 10,535 compared to last year's 20,000. And that's about it. Questions, comments, concerns?
Counselor Ferguson.
Just on kind of some comments here. So I really like, these campaigns. I really like putting ourselves on the map. I think it's important. I mean, we have well over 1 million people within a 2.5, 3 hour drive from us. So that's a quick, easy vacation for a lot of people. I would like to have a larger discussion as part of our budget deliberations about a winter campaign. I think it's something kind of important. I think it's an untapped market with a lot of the resources and the activities we have up here for winter time. So I'm kind of wondering around the council table if there's any appetite to discuss a budget for winter campaign as part of our budget deliberations.
Counselor Hughes.
I would love to play in that space. It's great that you brought that up because the Tourism Society actually is submitting for a grant to do just that and basically do a winter campaign if we do get grant funds. However, maybe there's an opportunity for some sort of partnership or collaboration using, all of the metrics and the kind of this data that you've already compiled in a way. So maybe there's something there and we can kind of have a quick win even for this winter. I don't know, turnaround time with using the local person, but I definitely think there's something there. I do know that the Tourism Society 100% does want to promote winter tourism in our area. We're just kind of fine tuning exactly what that's going to look like, right? But yeah, I definitely would love to see us, throw some weight behind that, certainly. And in terms of just a couple other comments, I just wanted to say that I know myself and the majority of the group as well commented that they really enjoyed a lot of the ads that we had this year. They all looked really good, very well done. I enjoyed the videos as well myself. I love that we got more value for dollar here. That's pretty blatantly obvious in your report. So I super appreciate that. And it's also wonderful that we were able to use a local person to achieve that. So I love that. I did have a question for you, just back to your time frame. Sorry, so you were saying you want to, if we do this next year, you would have these launching in June and July? Is that what you said?
Wait, I'd probably target, so getting back to the presentation, there's that little kind of line graph on the right-hand side where you kind of start to see that peak. That peak is, or where it starts to see it rise. That's in the middle of June. So I want to start my campaign maybe a week before then. Similar, we started around June 1st. I think that's a suitable start date, but I would probably end earlier because we had the ad campaigns going all the way to August 30th. And as you see in my little graph there, traffic really trails down after August 4th. After the August long weekend, the traffic dived. So
my only thought with that, like I totally understand what you're saying and the metrics as they are, but I also am curious what we could, potentially achieve if we do an earlier campaign as well, because a lot of people make their summer plans well in advance. So it just begs the question for me, if we're doing this in April, what kind of results could we get potentially? Will people book ahead and plan to come here and do multiple stays, which of course is what we want to see. So just a, question in general.
My brain was going in the same place along with Kim. There is, I know I've already got plans for next summer now. I don't necessarily agree with doing a summer campaign, in November or December, but I'm curious on the thoughts from people who actually have experience in economic development and tourism. If an earlier start, I understand it's great to do it for the people that are, you have a weekend off and you want to make a quick plan, but I'm wondering if we can get some people to make plans a little bit earlier, especially because our campgrounds fill up.
Yeah. Or perhaps there's a potential for the Tourism Society to do a very similar marketing campaign earlier on. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a crossover and certain, collaboration and opportunities that we can both explore. Maybe that's.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I should add is the reason we started on June 1st this year was actually our consultant availability.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So would you have wanted to start earlier then?
I was still targeting June 1st, but I'm happy to entertain a May 1st or even in April. But that was part of the problem. I should also, you mentioned better value for dollar. I should mention that Truly Creative gave us a discounted rate this year because they wanted to prove that, well, she loves the town. She wanted to prove her worth, prove the exceptional work she does and hopefully get some of our business back. So I should definitely say that we did receive a discounted rate this year.
Okay, okay, that's really good to know. Thank you.
Counselor Moallem?
I agree with Bryce. I always thought about, we should be, I mean, it's nice that we have the beach here, but we've got winter here for like 8 months of the year. So I think that's where there's a definite opportunity for snowmobiling, for all sorts of stuff, I think. And that's I think where, I mean, now that we got the metrics, you know, I think I would like to definitely see this happen in the winter as well, and maybe kind of have two marketing campaigns, one kind of flows into the other.
Yep, for sure. I think one challenge over a winter campaign, and this has been discussed at the Tourism Society, is what's the big draw? So you've mentioned snowmobiling. A big limitation,
fishing.
and this was mentioned this year as well, is we don't have a good trail network map. And some of the trails that people use, they actually shouldn't even be using. So that's a big draw. Ice fishing is also a big draw. I think that's where you'd want to put your focus. But yeah, that I would have to put my brain to that, because obviously the beach is so obvious in the summer, but in winter, what is it going to be? Yeah, besides ice fishing.
Go ahead, Counselor Adams.
Counterpoint to that, unless we're gonna hit all this at the one time and really expand our expense in this category, I would rather see us get this summer piece figured out and hammered down, whether it's cooperations and partnerships with tourism on getting the advanced advertising in April, May, or even more testing to figure out where we should be advertising, if it's April or May, or even if it's February, where we get that hit. And where that goes, and I'd rather see that focus, we get that figured out, then we spin into the summer or into the winter, or even start. Like you say, what is winter tourism look like in Slave Lake? I don't know, and as bad as this sounds, my idea of winter tourism is going to Hawaii, but yeah. For here, I'd like us to focus on one and just go with it, but.
Not that I'm laughing, thank you. The map piece. So we also heard in a previous presentation, my timeline's a bit foggy, that we're missing the summer map piece as well. Is there plans for said maps piece?
Summer map, yes. Winter map has not been contemplated.
Okay, so that's a bit of a bigger discussion. I do agree that I think we need to build the robustness of the summer program, what we're attracting people for first, get that right. And then I do fully believe in a winter tourist destination, but I think there are some things that need to be considered, like operators for that. Yes, we do have ice fishing shacks, but it's hard to attract people to come to a place that we don't then have specific things for. I think sports marketing, like for kids sports, like tournaments would be the route to go personally for winter sports for now. Any type of what am I thinking? Tournaments is the word I'm looking for. So speaking towards that and trying attracting tournaments here, because then I don't want to say people are forced here, but there is a reason to come here. And once we see that, maybe we'll see some more operators come out of the woodwork. I think it's hard to be like, basically it's ice fishing is what we have operators for right now. And that's in the region. So we'll just call it that. We have operators for ice fishing in the region, but as far as other winter items, there's been sled drags before. It's not always consistent, but that's the Snow and Mud Association. So I think as those entities start to build their pieces, if we could focus on getting youth sports here for a weekend in a variety of different sports, arts, whatever it may be, competitions, then I think that might play out a little bit better.
Yeah, I had that jotted down. So I agree with both ladies on, I'd love to see like a little bit earlier summer campaign. So just to see if we could get people making plans for that. But then the rubber tire tourism of sporting events, or maybe we're chasing a conference, like getting people just to come here for that, seeing some of our outdoors, and maybe there's residual spin off or someone provides something for them to do. But I think that's the winter tourism right now, is making people come here for a conference or a hockey tournament or what have you. That's what realm I'd like to play in.
Certainly. And just to kind of bring it back around to Jason's point as well, like he's very aware that while I'm saying we're doing a grant for winter, a winter campaign, the part of it too is kind of like, okay, so yeah, we're gonna do ice fishing, you know, the Boreal Center experience and maybe renting the nest. Like we have a few things, but it's not large. So again, we will do it if we get funds for it, but it's not quite ready yet in its entirety, whereas the beach and everything else is a lot easier. So I will echo that sentiment 100%. But I also believe that we can get there. It's just takes time to form these connections and encourage the collaboration and the growth of tourism operators in the area. But the hunger is there from them. A lot of them see the potential and they see the need to try to take their business from just a summertime thing to winter. So we just need, you know, supports and advocacy and all these pieces to kind of come together to get us to that point. So I just wanted to reiterate that. And thank you, Jason.
Counselor Adams.
Motion to accept as information.
Any further discussion? Call to question, those in favor? And that is carried. Thanks, Jason. Question period. Do we have any questions from council?
What?
No? Oh, wow, shocking. He just said, I'm good. All right, we're gonna move along then. We have 3 pieces of correspondence. The first up is from Martin Long, Parliamentary Secretary for Rural Health. Jeff, do you want to go ahead and summarize the very long letter?
We all read it. Yeah, it's a very long letter. This is the letter that was received from MLA Martin Long in response to our meeting with him and his office at our during our Alberta Municipalities Conference. It goes into a number of issues and addresses that we actually had conversations with in regards to him. And so it was just received this week and I've included in the package for council's information and the public as well.
Do I need to have a motion, Counselor Adams?
Motion to accept as information.
Any further discussion? Counselor. Okay. Call question, those in favor, and that is carried. Next up, we have correspondence from Region 5 Métis Nation of Alberta. This one's pretty short. They are requesting that the town of Slave Lake on November 14th for Métis Week, raise the Métis Nation's flag to commemorate Métis Week. And then share some opening remarks on behalf of council. So this one would require a motion regarding the raising of the flag, and it is within the flag time period policy as well. Okay. Counselor Hughes.
I am happy to make that motion that we raise the flag for Métis Week. As in the letter.
Is that good for a motion?
Yeah, that would be fine.
That would be
Get the message. Yeah.
We would like to raise the flag on that day. Discussion.
Yeah. Just wondering, is there something as well that we can incorporate our lights downtown with on this, or does that work?
With, sorry, I
somehow?
didn't hear the beginning part.
For the lights downtown, is there something that incorporates with that as well? I kind of like to see them both
Are they
in tandem
usually
usually.
blue and white? Are we able to do
Um,
blue and white? Is that one of the colors on the
I believe we can.
light
Yes.
standards?
Yep.
I like that as well. Maybe alternating if possible.
Okay.
For that entire, I would amend Counselor Hughes' motion, a friendly amendment to add the alternating blue and white lights, but for the entirety of that week. Yes. Because it is identified that it's
Métis Week.
yeah, and it is that the whole of that week. I'm not for sure on the days of that. But we can find that out.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it goes Monday to Sunday or if it's Saturday to Saturday. I don't know what the,
Well, I would suggest we would start it Monday. Otherwise you start to creep into Remembrance Day.
that's fair. Yes.
And that may be a conflict or.
Yeah, let's start it on Monday then and run it through to as best we can.
Okay.
Fair. Okay, there's a motion on the floor with slight amendment for the lights. Any further discussion? Call to question, those in favor. And that is carried.
The second item on that request was
Oh.
for yourself to present or someone to represent council.
Yes. You can respond yes to that. Please. And perhaps give me a time. Okay, next up.
So next up is a correspondence received today from Alberta municipalities. It's in regards to the extended producer responsibility program. I know there was some discussion on this. Maybe at last council, I can't recall. I remember Councilor Ferguson was speaking about it.
Yeah, I had attended a online webinar about it. So my kind of thoughts is I think it would be prudent to pre-register. My understanding from that webinar that I attended is that it doesn't commit us to anything. To be honest, I'm not necessarily sold on anything that the government promises for free. The cost will likely come somewhere, and in this case, increased cost to producers who will pass the cost on down to consumers. That being said, though, I do believe it is worth investigating because the whole recycling industry seems to be moving to this type of system, and Alberta is one of the last ones to jump on board. So worth investigating, in my opinion.
Any further discussion on that?
We just need to accept this as information or?
What do you?
If you're asking, this would require a motion if you're directing administration to proceed with this program. Or to pre-register at the stage that we're at.
Councilor Adams.
I think this is worth pre-registering for. I think we should go down that road. Much like Councillor Ferguson has said, I think it's in our best interest as there's no immediate, well, small immediate costs for doing any sort of investigation in this. We'd be remiss if we didn't investigate further.
I'm also, I'll weigh in. Councillor Ferguson is the most experienced on the waste committee here, so I default to his knowledge in that, on that committee and with regards to this. I'm fine personally with registering for this as long as it doesn't commit us. I'm not ready at the commitment stage just because I don't have enough information. I don't fully understand EPR. Got a very long report at the last waste meeting and I don't believe I understand all of it in its entirety. So
for the benefit of all those in the gallery and all those listening online, my understanding of it from what I've learned is that it would take our recycling center and our curbside pickup, and it would shift that cost to the producers of that material, and they would be responsible for the costs associated with it. So if what the information coming out is correct, it should come at a cost savings to the town.
cost savings to the town, but then is the theory that the producers will then increase their.
They're going to increase the costs
Yeah.
across the board everywhere. Consumers and residents will probably be hit everywhere by it. And so, I mean, if there's an opportunity for us to investigate a scenario where we can save on our taxes a little bit, I think it's worth investigating.
Councilor Adams.
I'd like to make a motion that administration proceeds with registration and exploring this further.
Pre-registration.
Yeah, pre-registration.
That
Step
works.
one.
Step one. Don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Step one. Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Do we have any further discussion? Call to question those in favor. And that is carried. That ends our correspondence section. Moving into the state of the lake. Do we have any items from council?
I do.
Councilor Hughes.
So I just wanted to let everybody know that the Slave Lake and Area Mental Health Network has what they call a human library this coming Saturday at the Slave Lake Library. There may or may not be a fellow counselor who's also involved in it. It's Councilor Mwallam and his brother Mo. And myself will be there as well, talking about kind of our history in the community, our businesses, community involvement, etc. If you want to listen to us speak, please come out. I'm sure Ali will be much more entertaining than me. And I just wanted to note too that the library actually has a bunch of really awesome things going on that day. They have different entertainment, they have food, they have some crafts and stuff for children from the Arts Council. So it's kind of a full meal deal there on Saturday. Oh, and I didn't mention the time, 11 to 12:30. So yeah, please come out to the public library. Thanks.
Councilor Mwallam.
I just thought of one. So the episode, the CBC was here in early summer, filming our community, talking to people. They did about 5 interviews with 5 different people in this community, I being one of them, for a show called Still Standing that airs today on CBC. I saw it this morning, so if anyone has missed it or didn't PVR it, you can actually stream it as well through CBC Gem. So if you're looking to watch that tonight and you forgot about it, you can find it there.
Thank you. I will go through my list of things. On Saturday, myself and Councillor Gramlich and his wife were at the Law Enforcement Appreciation Dinner. This celebrated the work of the RCMP, detachment support staff, peace officers, sheriffs, victim services staff. It was at the Legion and it was a fantastic meal and a really good opportunity to engage and just have a good night with our law enforcement. So it was really great to see everyone there. Had a really good turnout. I would also like to highlight a couple of events. We have the All Seasons Market from 10 to 3 at the MRC this Saturday. As next week, the Stage North has one of their first fall concerts with Trevor Panzak on October 28th at 7:30. Tickets are available on the Stage North website, the Slave Lake Library, as well as Distractions and Royal LePage. Also, on that same Saturday, the Canyon Creek Rec Association is also having a Halloween dance at 6 p.m. at the Widewater Complex, and you can contact the Rec Association for tickets. And then just a side note on council's end, we had our organizational meeting tonight where we all joined a variety of committees. So there's going to be some change up on the committee reports moving forward. As well, I wanted to highlight that we have started budget pretty early this year. So we've started our 2024 budget talks as of last week. We had presentations from a couple of departments and we'll be moving forward through that through into November. And I believe that is all I have for State of the Lake. Councillor Hughes.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, any further discussion? Call the question, those in favor, and that is carried. Thank you.